Translation. Sutta Goswami said, Maharaj Parikshit, thus being petitioned by the personality of Kali, gave him permission to reside in places where gambling, drinking, prostitution, and animal slaughter were performed. Purport. The basic principles of irreligiosity, such as pride, prostitution, intoxication, and falsehood, counteract the four principles of religion, namely austerity, cleanliness, mercy, truthfulness. The personality of Kali was given the permission to live in four places particularly mentioned by the king, namely the place of gambling, place of prostitution, place of drinking, and the place of animal slaughter. Srila Jiva Goswami directs that drinking against the principles of scriptures, such as Sautramani Yagya, association with women outside marriage, and killing animals against the injunctions of the scriptures are irreligious. In the Vedas, two different types of injunctions are there for the pravritas, or those who are engaged in the material enjoyment, and for the nivritas, or those who are liberated from material bondage, which is all of you. The Vedic injunctions for the pravritas is to gradually regulate their activities towards the path of liberation. Therefore, for those who are in lowest stage of ignorance and who indulge in wine, woman, and flesh, drinking by performing Sautramani Yagya, association of women by marriage, and flesh eating by sacrifices are sometimes recommended. Such recommendations in the Vedic literature are meant for particular class of men, not for everybody, and not for all. But because they are injunctions of the Vedas for particular types of persons, such activities by the pravritas are not considered adharma. One's man's food may be poison for others. Similarly, what is recommended for those in a mood of ignorance may be poison for those in the mood of goodness. Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhu therefore affirms that recommendations in the scriptures for a certain class of men are never to be considered adharma or irreligious. But such activities are factually adharma, and they are never to be encouraged. The recommendations in the scriptures are not meant for encouragement of such adharma, but for regulating the necessary adharma gradually towards the path of dharma. Following in the footsteps of Maharaj Parikshit, it is the duty of all executive heads of state to see that the principles of religion, namely austerity, cleanliness, mercy, truthfulness, are established in the state, and that the principles of irreligion, namely pride, illicit female association or prostitution, intoxication, and falsity, are checked by all means. And to take the best use of bad bargain, the personality of Kali may be transferred to places of gambling, drinking, prostitution, slaughterhouses. If there are any places like that, those who are addicted to these irreligious habits may be regulated by the injunctions of the scriptures. In no circumstances should they be encouraged by any state. In other words, the state should categorically stop all sorts of gambling, drinking, prostitution, and falsity. The state which wants to eradicate corruption by majority may introduce the principles of religion in the following manner. This is striking, like Prabhupada points out. What's the problem? Everybody wondering, what's the problem? Why so many problems? But they have no intelligence to hear this. Prabhupada points out the problem, points out solution. Prabhupada said, in following manner: 1, 2 compulsory fasting day in a month, if not more. This is austerity. That's the base, 4 legs of Dharma. 1 is austerity. So fast on Ekadashi. Even from the economic point of view, such 2 fasting days in a month in the state will save tons of food. And the system will also act very favorably on the general health of the citizens. So fasting sometimes is good for detox. 2, there must be compulsory marriage of young boys and girls attaining 24 years of age and 16 years respectively. means for boys 24, for ladies, girls 16. There is no harm in co-education in the schools and colleges, providing the boys and girls are duly married. Imagine you're going to school and you have a wife in, I don't know, second class. Interesting. But in Vedic time, there was no girls going to school. It was a gurukul under the tree. Guru comes to instruct the boys mostly. The ladies are instructed by somebody else in basic things, how to serve and basic things, maybe read and write. And in case there is an intimate connection between male and female student, they should be married properly without illicit relation. Impossible. Lord Jetland said impossible. That the Divorce Act is encouraging prostitution, and this should be abolished. 3, there's a proper third principle. So dealing with austerity, recommends fasting. 2nd, illicit sex should be restricted to marriage ties. 3rd, the citizens of the state must give in charity up to 50% of their income for the purpose of creating spiritual atmosphere in the state of human society, both individually and collectively. They should preach the principles of Bhagavatam. A, karma yoga, or doing everything for the satisfaction of the Lord. B, regular hearing of the Srimad Bhagavatam from authorized person or realized souls. And C, chanting of the glories of the Lord congregationally at home or at place of worship. And D, rendering all kinds of service to Bhagavatas, engage in preaching Bhagavatam, and residing in a place where the atmosphere is saturated with God consciousness. If the state is regulated by the above process, naturally there will be God consciousness everywhere. So Prabhupada gives solution. Gambling of all descriptions, even speculative business enterprise, is considered to be degrading. And when gambling is encouraged in the state, there is a complete disappearance of truthfulness. Interesting. Yeah, gambling means cheating. Allowing young boys and girls to remain unmarried more than the above mentioned ages, 24, 16, and licensing animal slaughterhouses of all descriptions should be at once prohibited. The flesh eaters may be allowed to take flesh as mentioned in the scriptures, and not otherwise. Intoxication of all descriptions, even smoking cigarettes, chewing tobacco, or the drinking of tea must be prohibited. So, Jai Srila Prabhupada, he's kind of striking straight in. That's a solution. That's a problem. That's a solution. How many people will hear this? How many people can hear this? They will look for problems somewhere else, somewhere around the bush. It's incredible. So for quite a few months we're talking about 4 main subjects here. About cows, about bulls, about Dharma, about the king, about Kali. Quite a few months. So dramatic. Today we're going to speak about something completely different. We're going to talk about cow, about the bull, about the king, about Kali, and what else? I forgot one. I mean, it's like incredible how many times Prabhupada mentioned 4 regulative principles here. Every verse, at least few. Last verse I gave, but 8, 7 times. Now also, probably 10 times. Just point out the problem. Points out the problem. Sutta Goswami said Maharaj Parikshit, as being petitioned by the personality of Kali, gave him permission to reside in places where gambling, drinking, prostitution, animal slaughter were performed. Does it mean that these evil things are allowed in such places? Because he gave him permission to reside there. Evil or adharmic influence is allowed to these places. See? Because those places are naturally adharmic places, all these 4. Gambling, drinking, prostitution, manslaughter. So it cannot be any good in such places. in such activities. He breeds only evil things, nothing else. Can it be any good in intoxication, in gambling, in prostitution, animal killing? Can it be any good in it? Intoxication, maybe it gets you, especially nowadays, just gives you relief temporary from all this passion and stress. Perhaps we are in Kali Yuga, we have to close one blind eye. Gambling, is any good in gambling? You can get easy profit. But you get so hooked on. Once Prabhupada allowed Shyamasundara to gamble on the stock exchange. He said, we are in crisis and he's good. Shyamasundara, he's very good. And Prabhupada's sanction. And he was with Prabhupada even, and they went to the place. And then they got quite substantial amount of money. And then later the devotees asked, can we do this? He said, no, but he can do it. Shyamasundara said. He's not at the sanction, but Acharya can adjust things. I mean, I remember my father, he was pretty much passionate about gambling. My goodness, he would turn into a beast. Once he won some lottery, not all numbers, but he got such a substantial amount of money. My goodness, he was just all over the place. That's in gambling. You win a little bit, and you get so hooked on that you just can't get out. It's probably worse than drugs. You get so, people ruin their life. And prostitution, is there any good in that? Sure there is. In Vedic time, there were prostitutes. They said for balancing those who are too passionate. Prostitutes were there to balance that passion. See? Rather than, let's say, Kali Yuga. Anyway, I don't want to speak consumption. I don't know. It's not my... Is any good in killing animals? Of course, Vedic society, killing animals. Prabhupada mentioned many times for testing mantras and sacrifice, pleasing demigods, whatever. But in general, there's no any good in all these things. Like, whoever takes intoxication, can't be any good come out of it, whatever it is, Even if you took for some time in your life, once, twice, still, it just leaves the mark, consciousness. Once they asked Prabhupada, we have been taking so much LSD, intoxication, even heroin. What we do? Our brain is gone, like our brain. Prabhupada said, take what you have left and serve Krishna. So it can be restored. And he saved many people. Somehow, those times they were nasty, but narcotics were not so spiced with heavy chemicals, and incredible. I know devotees, also, old timers who were really heavy on drugs, heroin, but somehow they clean. There was not many, side effect out of it, Nowadays, God, can't function. Okay. In Prabhupada, the basic principle of religiosity, such as pride, prostitution, intoxication, falsehood, counteract the four principles of religion, namely austerity, cleanliness, mercy, truthfulness. So pride destroys austerity, as we mentioned before. Prostitution destroys cleanliness, physical cleanliness and mental cleanliness. Once you get hooked on that also, you can't think of anything else. Young person is very difficult to get rid of this meditation. And then falsehood. No, what's that next one? Pride, prostitution, austerity. Yeah, pride, austerity, prostitution, cleanliness. And intoxication destroys the mercy. That's interesting. Prabhupada connect that. Intoxication destroys the mercy. Of course, you lose the sense of decency and and then, of course, truthfulness, falsehood. So Kali was given permission to live in such places, particularly mentioned by the king. Prabhupada said, particularly mentioned those places Kali can reside there. Gambling, prostitution, drinking, slaughterhouse. The king gave him these places. So why he allowed him to live in those places? See? Because Kali can be controlled in such a way. See, these are your 4 places. You know, that's your place, reside. But if government then eradicates those 4 places, Kali is gone, finished. It's like like let's say you gather all these criminals, heavy murderers, and I'll go to holiday in Hawaii. There's a ship, just board on the ship. They board on the ship, and then middle of the ocean, you sink the ship. That's what Maharaj Parikshit did. There are 4 places, but he was so strong that he was in total control of those 4. I gave you those 4. I was happy first maybe, but then realized, where should I go? Where should I go? Entire kingdom is under your jurisdiction. There is no such a places. See? He was a strong leader, you know. He knew it. He was clever. So Kali just slept like a hookah, from hanging loop around the neck, suffocating. Those 4, but I'm suffocating. I cannot survive. You know, there's no such a places in your kingdom. And then he pleaded to more verse for another place where is gold, just to survive. See, you remember, like in, I don't know, in beginning of 19th century, rush gold in the America. So many movies, so many books about such a madness. We were killing each other. You know, once you get this, some, you know, excavate some gold, you know, it's like a rush. So it's a Kali resides there. And the gambling, of course. Yeah. You mentioned those 3, gambling. Any place Prabhupada says there is any gambling, it's degrading. It's not just lottery, scratch cards, how we call all this, lottery, anything. Stock exchange, I mentioned, Shamasundara. So wherever there is anticipation of gaining for something cheaply or for nothing, that's a gambling. See? So much passion and evil brings, you know. And prostitution, or brothels, anything, whatever promotes the lust. People, which is now there more or less everywhere. You know, promotes the lust, eradicates, wake up the lust, even in old men, not to speak of young. Okay. Drinking intoxication, that's everywhere. There's no even need to talk about. So this weakened character of man, enslaves and loses, you know, you lose, you sense your decency. That's what's happening in those places. So king gave him only those 4 places, nothing else. See, that's interesting, you know. Because Kali couldn't reside anywhere else. Wherever is purity, he can reside. See. But as Kali Yuga progresses, even so-called pure places become residents of Kali. Even religion, religious institution, Kali enters there also. We are not free from that also, age of quarrel. So nowadays, you know, place of worship is place of Kali also. So the same, like Kali accepted those places first, those first base, including where is the gold, because the same as we go to preach, we first look for favorable places. We preach there first, and then when you get more strong, you will go to unfavorable places also. I don't know, those countries where word of God is forbidden, where they could kill you even. Let devotees go there. So it's Kali also. First they accepted those, and slowly creating agent Kali chelas everywhere. So he was able to penetrate even in religious institutions. So these 4, animal slaughter, killing, intoxication, gambling, there are 4 who can stop the Kali and who can also enhance his influence, those 4. If we eradicate those 4, he's finished. If you indulge, then Kali thrives. Feed or starve the Kali, those 4. Incredible. There's so many Prabhupada just stressing those 4. Although these 4 regulating principles are not spiritual in themselves, but without being Krishna consciousness, in consciousness, you cannot follow them. Barely anyone can follow them. And if you don't follow them, cannot even practice Krishna consciousness. So they are connected. Only from a human platform can practice spiritual life. See? I don't know, do you know anyone who follows those four without being Krishna conscious and steadily following them? Maybe some, you can, some Krishna, something. But can really say, is it? Or, they don't even know. So they break at least one. And so concession, Prabhupada mentioned. Shivajiva Goswami therefore affirms that recommendation in scriptures for certain class of men are never to be considered adharma or irreligious. But such activities are factually adharma and are not meant for the encouragement of such adharma, but for regulating necessary adharma gradually towards the path of adharma, path of dharma. So these activities are not adharma, but they are adharma. It's contradictory, isn't it? But when it's thus adharma, adharmic principle apply for certain goal for a section of people, then to bring them gradually to dharmic, then they are not adharma. Prabhupada mentioned, they are not adharma. So even those degrading activities can be channeled, see. So this is how apply dharma, adharma expertly. Acharyas, they are not kind of fanatics, dry, smartas or whatever, unreasonable, or somebody considering lunatics. They know how to apply those four. See, how to channel. Sometimes devotees argue, Some members, whatever, they are not strong character or whatever. Or some activities are there, mundane, and they criticize. But acharyas can slowly just regulate that. Give them those four, but then regulate them, see. Regulate those four. He sees condition of people and thinking, how can I apply those activities to channel slowly? Even Prabhupada said, first I was studying, he said 6 months here, people in America to see how can I preach. See? Regulations, that's the first step. To make use of the bad bargain, the personality of Kali may be transferred to places of gambling, drinking, prostitution, and slaughterhouses. If there are any places like that. So if there are any places like that, Kali can reside there. So I guess Maharaj Parikshit was aware there are such places. Even he was strong, but there are such places. So okay, you go there. But he was making sure that they are not prominent. See? He said, those who are addicted to these irreligious habits may be regulated by injunctions of the scriptures. So regulating those above to bring up people who are addicted. So how you regulate all these? How you regulate gambling? How you regulate gambling? Those who are addicted to gambling. As I said, bring people up. Okay, gamble, but how you regulate? I don't have an answer. Don't look at me. How you regulate gambling? Do only lottery, don't go to casino. I don't know, man. How you regulate gambling? The gambling means all speculative enterprise, Prabhupada said. All places where is a gain. I don't know the answer. I said, no, I'm fanatic. How you regulate prostitution? How you regulate prostitution? You make prostitute Krishna conscious or something. Jai Shri Gopal. Ramakshman Maharaj Yontai Ki Jai. So, therefore, acharyas can apply this. He knows what to do. I don't know. Therefore, I'm asking you. How to regulate gambling and prostitution? Of course, how to regulate 10-mile slaughter? Okay, don't kill the cows at least. Once a month, speak mantra, manasa, something. What's that? I'm killing you, you're killing me. Yeah, people do this. Oh, horrible. Yeah, you have to. You cannot be shown away from, but you have to slowly, Okay, kill chicken. Okay, offer to Kali, something. So anyway, Acharya knows how to deal with that. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, is do this. Sometimes we feed meat to the people who build in temple, and give them pan, tobacco, whatever, marijuana. People are, smarters, they can stand up. That's Acharya. If you are not Acharya to apply this according to circumstances, you're not going to preach. Prabhupada wouldn't create anything in the West. He was not lenient and slowly show them the way, see. Because in Bhagavad Gita says, if you cannot do this, you cannot do this, you cannot do this, then do this, isn't it? You can quickly read those few verses in Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, it said in 12th chapter, it said, just fix your mind on me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage in your aura intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always without doubt. This is first topmost injunction for devotees, for Arjuna. Think always of me, totally be absorbed in me. This injunction. Oh no, can't do this, Arjuna said. Okay, Arjuna, next one. My dear Arjuna, O winner of the wealth, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principles. So for regulative principles, or Bhakti Yoga, a little bit more than 4x. In this way, develop desire to attain me. So this is second level, okay. Try to follow 4x, you know. You cannot totally be absorbed. That's the first. That's a kind of more or less level which Prabhupada started his preaching. You know, introduces not forcibly 4x. Prabhupada, can you do something more? Oh yes, we can do so much more. So then very soon, after a few months, Prabhupada was strongly preaching. People whose sex life was their life and soul, hippies, love, flowers, freedom, no restrictions. After a few months, he would preach openly, even open programs to hippies. No illicit sex. It is incredible. So, because he gained conviction, he saw his disciples progress, you know, so interesting. So that's a level he started. 10th, in 12th chapter. If you cannot practice regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me, because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage. So like a kind of karma, without, say, yoga. Yeah, karma yoga, of course, work for me. So we have these programs, engage people, just do some service, you know, do something, help. Like, remember, what's the name? This devotee who was building Ratha Yatras. He would just call people under car. He was working, building the Ratha Yatra car. Jananda, come on, can you just hammer this nail or something? And he would do, wow, you hammer this nail, so wonderful, you're so expert. Can you nail one more? So, like, you know, bring people up, you know, like woofing system also, woofers. There's one ex-woofer, he came here, we tricked him. So work for Krishna. Cannot do this, work for Krishna. That's the next. And then 11, if however you are unable to work in this consciousness of me, even you cannot work for Krishna, then try to giving up all results of your work and try to be substituted. Giving up all result of your works. This is pretty advanced. I don't know how you do this. If you cannot work for me, give up your work. I'm not going into that, how this to be happen. Give up results of your work. It's pretty advanced stage, I would say. Anyway, if you cannot take to this practice even, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Okay, book distribution. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation. Think of Krishna. When you get a book, I guess you'll think a little bit of it, what you read. And better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action. For such renunciation, you can attain peace of mind. That's a gradual process. Because I don't know anyone who came to Krishna consciousness straight. You met somebody or somebody meet you in the street, immediately you took up 4x, take up chanting 60 rounds. It's a gradual process, like a sunrise, you know. It's a dim light first. You're exhausted pretty much materially. That's a qualification. Like exhausted all night, raving or something, and then morning comes. So materially exhausted a little bit. And there's dim light. You hear, you get information. Some dim light comes, like, you know, like a sunrise almost to come. That's a kind of shraddha. You try. Actually, there's a way out of this way of life. See? Then comes more light. Darkness of ignorance a little bit disappears, a little bit more. And stars are still visible. Although the Sunday stars are still also, you see stars in the sky, how do you call this? You are material exhausted, but still there's some stars on the sky. Maybe there is some here still. You are not yet fully there. See? Some happiness. Then stars disappear. That means that your hopes get flattered down. There is no enjoyment here. Material desires are frustrated. Your attempts are just never meet expectation. That's a slowly, gradual process here. Then you see the sun comes up. In great hope, you already kind of, and you have enough strength to realize there's nothing here, no happiness. Then sun comes. The great hope gives you great hope. That's it. Or comes, or taste for Krishna consciousness. Then as sun is rising, more warmth. Warmer and warmer. Whoa, great Krishna consciousness, yes. Then you get active. Everybody is after morning rise. They stare, passion, active. You are active. Do some service for devotees. No, very active. Young people, very active. They do so much. I mentioned many times, this movement runs on first 5 years of enthusiasm of young devotees. So enthusiastic, they do so much. But then, so that means bhajana kriya, this activity. There's a bhajana kriya. Sun is stronger and stronger, bhajana kriya. But then, whoa, you have to find the shed. Sometimes gets too much, intense. Sun is burning. You have to cool down a little bit, see where we are. Don't rush too much. It's too much austerity over there. See? And then sun slowly calms down, kind of. It's kind of pleasant more and more. So you pass through the stages of heat, intense endeavor, intense, and then it's pleasant. What's that? More pleasant. Oh, Krishna consciousness. Ruchi. You get taste for it. See? Nice. Then evening approaches. What's that? Asakti. This is my own comprehension. It's not that chariot. You get, some, like asakti means attachment. Attachment, yeah. You cannot give it up, Krishna consciousness anymore. That's attachment. Just can't give it up. Can you imagine? Can you think yourself giving up? Maya is so strong. Don't think. Can't give it up. But, can't give it up. That's it. Then sun goes down. What is that? You can compare this to a very advanced stage. Sun goes down, like a bhava stage. Oh, Krishna is gone. Krishna is gone. But then stars appear. Devotees are around you. They can help you. Yeah, Krishna is gone, don't worry. Like devotees who always, so Chaitanya would be in ecstasy. They would calm him down. Don't worry, Krishna is there in your heart. Very easy with a big chest. So devotees help you in this. And there is cooling moon. What is that? Cooling moon, Lord Chaitanya. And all night, you are able to kind of a practicing process. In Lord Chaitanya's movement, shooting rays of the moon, and then moon dwindling as morning approaches. That means intense separation from Krishna in the mornings. It's a comparison. Intense. And then sun rays comes, and then sun comes. Your night of material life is over, finished. Sun is there, Krishna is there, you are in the spiritual world. It's kind of slow progression for all of us, I don't know. Probably all of us slowly climbing to these stages. I don't know anyone who didn't. See? So we traverse this place, this path ourselves. So then the question comes, how, I'm not a preacher. I don't know how to preach to others. But how can I cannot just describe to others how I came, what's happened all these stages. They should be preaching. Maybe not all will hear, but some of people will hear and be maybe enthused by it. See? So then you can guide others. See? Then, you know, your experience gives conviction to others. See? So Kali or his vices are most famous. Everywhere his principles are followed. So, you know, now we try to create Chaitanya Yuga within the Kali Yuga. See, Kali is already famous. You know, everybody knows him. Everybody does those sinful activities. See. As more people follow four principles, says purport, then in that degree Kali is checked. The state which wants to eradicate corruption by majority may introduce the principles of religion in the following manner. I describe those 3-4 steps. How to eradicate Kali. My goodness, you know, like everybody is looking for solution, very solution. Why so many problems? Prabhupada said, this was on one article. Something, corruption, drug problem, what to do or something, Prabhupada said. I know what to do. He gave him a few classes on that topic. He just saw in journals some, you know, headline. Or at least if you cannot do this second stage, if you have to create varnashram. Very often there is discussion among devotees. We don't need varnashram, and, you know. Prabhupada didn't stress enough in the beginning at all. We know that. But then when he was thinking of it, product of the idea of varnashram was very deep contemplation of Srila Prabhupada. You could see preaching is not going to happen on large scale until we are able to channel and engage those people slowly to bring them to Krishna consciousness, slowly to bring them to follow 4X. Like, you know, Varnashrama is just a base to start to follow process of Krishna consciousness. See, like, you know, we mentioned once, Nishkinchana Chaitanya said, Lord Chaitanya didn't stress at all Varnashrama. Yeah, tell me more when he was discussing with Ramananda Roy. Varnashram is a base, more. Because people were already familiar with Vedic society there. They were already divided into kind of Varnashrama. He was stressing straight away, highest. See? Then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he accepted that. But he said, this is most unfortunate order of society, Varnashrama. He said, if you read Bhaktisiddhanta Vaibhav, you know, this is most unfortunate protest. In the beginning, he said everybody was saintly character, topmost. You know, but as time gets degraded, we have to introduce this misfortunate system of Varnashrama. So, and then Prabhupada at the beginning didn't stress at all, of course, until the society is organized. But then later realized we need that. And as Kali Yuga progressing, we need that in some form, some way. See? Therefore, this was his message here. No one can say we don't need Varnashrama. Prabhupada said we need. Very often devotees say, this is not important. This is for not so very advanced people. You accept it, you are fortunate. But you have to do something. So, few will accept always, you know, out of masses. But for general mass of people, we must do it as a Prabhupada's desire. Cannot say no. Now it's 1:30. I don't want to read more my notes here. But if somebody has something to say, ask, whatever. So meditation, this verse is very complex. So, you know, it's incredible verse. Anyone?
Thank you for the class, Prabhu. I was just wondering, you were mentioning in the beginning how it's very difficult for people to hear this when Prabhupada or the scriptures, the acharyas give these strong comments or statements, and I was thinking that even sometimes for devotees it's very hard for us to hear these things, like girls should be married at 16, like coming from this background. So I was wondering, how do we deal with it when the acharyas, Prabhupada, say these things, and maybe we struggle to hear this and accept fully. So how do we deal with that?
That's a tough one, you know. Like you cannot, as I mentioned many times, you cannot just go straight in the middle of it. and create spiritual society. You know, see what Prabhupada says at the end. He gives the solution, but what he goes up there in a paragraph before, mentioned Jiva Goswami. What is adharma, what is dharma, and how adharma can be applied slowly to bring to dharma. These are top dharmic principles. You know, Prabhupada didn't compromise. It's all right, you know, it's all right. You could do this. But, you know, Prabhupada gave the absolute, ultimate Siddhanta in his books, and then gave also some concession how to come to that. So why his books are low for the society for the next 10,000 years? Because everything is there. He gave the topmost, he gives gradual process to that, he gives this, he gives most basics for everybody. So you should never forget that, and then, you know, it can be done, so, you know, I don't need to be married. When I'm 50, maybe find some partner because I'm alone or something, you know, and indulge as much as possible. You know, this is, society is encouraging to that. Prabhupada points the solution. Maybe one day somebody will, who is in the position, realize, let's try this, you know. They will try so many things. They don't even know where is the problem. There's cows everywhere, left and right. That's a regulation, you know. Definitely, I mean, when you get ultimately, like, you know, if you just leave the people, just this one basic thing, not regulate the sex life, create havoc, misfortune. Oh God, you know. So I have to bring people to that slowly. How regulate, how to go, you know, passion is mad. After we are, I don't know, 12, 13, 14, 15, you are like a volcano, man, you know. So everybody, so how to regulate that slowly. Sorry, yeah.
Thank you for the class, Prabhu. And yeah, I think that answers the question that you're also asking about how to eradicate, you know, stuff like prostitution and gambling in the society by slowly adding these dharmic concepts into the society, and then gradually the rest of the things will wean off when that's been solidified. And probably, I'm just speculating, that's why Prabhupada didn't really push Varnashram at the beginning, because he was trying to solidly establish something that can stay for a long time.
Some faithful followers who will carry the job.
Exactly, and then gradually the rest of the things can be added.
He scared them already, but he was able to bring them back. You know, give them some concession. You know, okay, 16 ounce, okay. So of course, this was. On the end, Prabhupada said, you know, we have to propagate Krishna consciousness. Last point is Sankirtan. You know, we have to flood the earth with the books, and then hopefully the people will read them and slowly come to that. That's the base. And, yeah.
This is quite encouraging from the Bhagavad Gita. It's right at the end where Krishna is talking after surrendered unto me, and then he says, "For one who explains this supreme secret." Oh God, I've lost it.
Well, yeah, we know. Yeah, be very dear to me. Yeah. To devotees, so we have to make them devotees.
Yeah, he says don't explain the secret to those who are envious.
Yeah.
But after this, he says those who explain this secret to the devotees are very, very dear to him.
That means before you make them devotees, you can speak them lies, isn't it?
As you like, but
little lies.
You see, what he's doing is he's association with devotees, and he's pointing out the power of that.
Yeah.
That actually we should take heed of how we can preach to each other.
Yeah. We need this also.
Because that's very powerful, and we need it. And likewise in households. You know, when it's a good one for householders. If they explain things to each other, you know, in their families or in Sangha groups, then it's just a very wonderful exchange. Krishna is so pleased with it, actually, to encourage people in their own spiritual life with each other's association. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay.
Hare Krishna. Go, Premanande, Hari Hari Go.